Hi, so in this video, I'm going to really quickly run over, as fast as I can, how to set up your ad campaign on the Amazon platform. Just to show you then, advertising.amazon.com. So this is the main website, and this is where you can sign in to the different platforms. So in this case, I'm going to sign into the UK. And what I've done before is once I've signed in, I actually save the page to a bookmark, so I can go there easily from my Chrome browser just by clicking on a bookmark. And so when you come into your main advertising dashboard, you can just create campaign from there. And it will ask if you want to go to sponsored product or sponsored brands. I've not done anything with sponsored brands, so I'm just going to show you sponsored products. Okay, so I previously did a video about just the basic introduction to Amazon ads. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I suggest you might want to check that out. I will link to that somewhere on the screen and also below in the description. So in that video, I do talk about the different ad types and what they are and what they mean. So I'm not going to go over that in this. This is purely just to set up different types of ad campaign. So what you need to do is first choose your campaign name. And I usually use something to do with the title of the book and then the type of ad that it is. So in this case, let's say I'll choose Easter because it's an Easter activity book, and then I will do auto, and that means an automatic ad. So on other ones, I'll put, for example, exact, that's for exact match, phrase, broad, or whatever it happens to be. And then I also set up a portfolio, which you can do directly on your Amazon Ads dashboard. There's a section where you can add portfolio. And this is just how you can organize things. So you don't need this if you don't want to. But for example, I have some different folders here: journals, activities, phrase. So I'm going to use automatic ads. So this is an automatic ad and it will go into this portfolio. And then I never have an end date. So just have your regular start date, and then whatever budget you want. I tend to go for around £5 or $5, or depending on what platform it is. And then in this section, when you want an automatic ad, you need to go to automatic targeting. If you want a manual ad, you'll do manual. Then when it comes to bidding, I always click down only. I've done dynamic bids up and down, and as it says here, they will raise your bid by a maximum of 100% in real time when your ad is more likely to convert to a sale, and lower your bids when they're less likely. Well, that all sounds very nice, but in my experience so far, I have tried it, and it's quite difficult to then optimize those ads because you never know how much you're going to be charged per click. Then you have to go quite low if you don't want your top bid to be too high, for example. It hasn't quite worked for me yet. Might work for some people, but I would say if you're just starting out, go for dynamic bids down. You'll have more control over things. You'll know that whatever bid you put is the absolute highest that you're going to be charged, and that is not the case with Amazon. So for example, if you bid 50p on here, then they could charge up to 100% more per click if they think that click is going to convert to a sale. So then here you do group ad name. I've always again put the same thing again, so I just put Easter auto. Then in this section is where you try and find your book. So I found this Easter book and I'm going to add that there. I created a couple of Easter type activity books last year, and I had some sales with them, but not that great. So the next thing is targeting. So we're on automatic targeting, and they'll give you a default bid. So you want to change this depending on what, how much you want to spend. What is the maximum bid you want? Now they're suggesting 52 cents. I always go lower than what Amazon suggests, and especially with automatic ads, they tend to actually cost you less than the other types of ads. The thing is, the lower the amount you go, the less likely you're going to have impressions and clicks. Now, obviously, you could start low and then gradually increase, which is exactly what I did when I started out, but it does take a long time. what I tend to do now is just put a slightly higher bid in order to get those impressions and clicks, and then from there I will lower the bids depending on what the ACOS is and so on. So in this particular case, I'm going to do it 32 pence, and I'm just going to assess what happens. And then you've got negative keyword targeting. So what you could do is you could put in specific keywords you absolutely do not want Amazon to be showing your book for. So you could put some generic terms in here if you wanted, or perhaps your book is aimed at girls, so you could put a particular keyword like colouring book for boys or something like that in there as a negative exact, mind you. I tend to do that if I am going to do it at all, I do it as a negative exact. But what I usually do at the moment anyway is I leave it blank and see what happens, see where Amazon is showing my book, and then I optimize it in there. So once your ad is running and you start getting clicks and you start getting impressions, you can actually then go into the ad and you can create negative keywords from the ones that Amazon is showing your book to. So that's automatic. So once you've done that, blah, 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 then you just launch the campaign. So I'm just going to scroll back up and show you how to use it for the manual ad. So again, it's exactly the same thing. Put in your campaign name. Then I would put exact, let's say, depending on what type of ad I want. So I've explained, by the way, all the different variations on the previous video that I will link to below. If you're not sure about that, then do go and check that out first. Okay, so let's just say I'm doing one that's all broad match. So I've got some here that are phrase exact broad combo in my portfolio. So I'm going to do that. Phrase exact broad, and maybe I'll do that so I know that it's phrase exact broad. Then I will select my budget, and now we want to do manual targeting. Keep this the same, dynamics bids down, keep the same name, exact phrase broad, and then we still want it on keyword targeting. So this is how you then enter your keyword. So the suggested bid is what Amazon suggests. So you want to do a custom bid. So you don't want a suggested bid, you want a custom bid. So you go to custom bid, and then you can change whatever bid that you want for this particular one. I'm going to go for, let's say, 36 for this one. Choose something that isn't a round number, or that's what people say. So do something a bit in between. And this is where you can choose which type you want. So in this case, I've gone for one that's all of them. I wouldn't normally do this because these are quite difficult to optimize, especially with low content books. I also don't like broad match because it is can come up with really generic terms or things that aren't relevant. And obviously the least relevant keywords are just not going to convert as well for your book. So these are some of the keywords that Amazon is suggesting for this particular book. Books for 2-year-olds, Easter activity books. So what I'll do is I'll go down all of these different Amazon keywords, and I'll add ones that I think are okay. And you can add, phrase, or so if you don't want broad at all, and obviously just untick that one anyway. And you might just want exact. Exact means that it's only going to be this particular keyword that's being shown. They're not going to add anything to the back or the front. Whereas with phrase, they might add other words to the back or to the end of the actual keyword. But let's just say you wanted phrase and exact, then you just add these as you go. And then what I would do is I could create my own list using either the AMZ suggestion expander, which is free. Then I'll also check on Publisher Rocket. You can use Helium 10, and then get some other keywords for your book, put them all down into a notes document, and then I would just copy and paste is what I do. You can also upload files, but I would just do a whole list of keywords, copy and paste them here, have your custom bid, and then add your keywords. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to put colouring Easter book for kids or something. Right, so you add the keyword, and then it's got, because you've put exact and phrase, it has both here, so you can actually adjust the amount that you want for either one if you want, In the beginning, I did tend to try exact match more because you have a lot more control. Obviously, you know the exact keywords that are going to be targeted, and you can make sure that those are as relevant as you possibly can. With Phrase, you can end up finding some other keywords that Amazon come up with that maybe you hadn't thought of. What you can do is set up 2 separate ad campaigns as well. So you might want to set up an exact one and then go back and do the same thing but set up a Phrase one, and it can be easier to optimize them when they're completely separate ads. Very quickly, I'm also going to show you product ads. So here you would put product, or you can use any campaign you want, but just so that you know which book is which. I would choose my portfolio for product ads. Then your daily budget, it's manual targeting again, dynamic bids down, then add your product, and then you want to go to product targeting. Now, what I tend to typically do in this case is I go onto Amazon and I find lots of products which are related to my book, so books in my niche. So what I tend to do is go for books that I feel that I can compete with. Maybe I feel my book's slightly better, maybe they don't have too many reviews, and so on. If you go for books that have a gazillion reviews and are really high quality, and maybe they're traditionally published, for example, even, or are really well established, your chances of taking on these people is going to be slim. So I would choose the products wisely, not go for things that are too competitive. So what I would do is I would go in to Amazon. I would use my Chrome Notes extension to just jot down all the books that I want to target, and then I come in here and go to individual products, and then I enter the list. So then I'll just copy and paste all of the ASINs, hit target, and that's it. And also, before you do that, make sure you change the bid. So go to custom bid, change it to what you want. You can also search. So from this area, you could put in particular keywords and then search for products that Amazon shows you. I sometimes do this first, and then I'll upload my list as well on top of that. I do really like these ads. I tend to do it also for my own books, so I will target my own books in the product ads to make sure that some of my books are also on my product page in the sponsored listing, so that if somebody isn't sure about my book, I give them some other options that also are my books, if you see what I mean. So that's it. I think I did that quite quick. I hope that made sense. I didn't want to do a long video about how to set up ads, because there are lots of videos out there anyway about how to set up your ad campaigns, but this is just a really quick one. The hardest bit, I guess, is trying to choose what keywords you have. Remember, the more keywords you're putting in, the higher the budget that you'll need, because you'll have to optimize all of those. Let's just say if you have 50 keywords and you're prepared to spend $2 a keyword before you switch that keyword off, for example, then that's already, that's $100. If you have 300 keywords, you can do the maths about how quickly that could add up. It all depends on how much ad spend as well you're willing to use to check out certain keywords. So what I would do typically is I would definitely switch off keywords in an auto campaign, for example, right away that are too generic. And then I will give more of a chance to those keywords which are longer tail keywords, which I think are really highly relevant to my book and more likely to lead to a sale and more likely to convert for me in the future. I hope this was useful. Please do let me know if you would like any other type of content on ads, or if there's still some stuff that you're not really sure about. And if you find this video useful, then please do give my video a thumbs up and hit subscribe and the notification bell for more videos like this in the future. I will speak to you again incredibly soon.